Shalom, all praises. Shalom, all praises, glory and honors to Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shai Basham, Rakakodash, and double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone, peace and salutations to the elect. I am your brother Mark Collard from the Great Millstone Jamaica camp, with another lesson here to feed the potential elect through the spirit and power of Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shai. And this is an in transit. I'm moving in the spirit. You know, I want to say a couple of things on a situation that took place in St. Elizabeth, where two Chinese nationals were killed at gunpoint, you know, by Jake, you know. And now, let me put out this disclaimer before I go into what I want to say, that I'm not promoting anyone to basically to go and rob and steal and murder and stuff like that. That's not what I'm doing, yeah? But there's another side to the coin that I want to make mention of, because of how I'm seeing Jake reacting to, you know, the images that are passing around, which I have the images but I can't play them because, you know, YouTube stay that, you know, Mr. Chin, I'm gonna call him like that, is on the ground with all his Chow Chong Chong thoughts outside, man. Likewise, Mrs. Chin, lying down in their business places, in a place, Salakia, you know, stiff on the ground. And I noticed that the sympathy that Jake has for them, yes, you have Jake that have sympathy for their own people, but the way our people behaving is like these people shouldn't die, like they can't die. And it's extra wicked. It's wicked for Jake to kill Jake, but it's extra wicked for Jake to do this to these Chinese nationals. Now, about 4 years ago, yeah? About 4 years ago, there was a situation that armed military men, professionals, went to a place called Peartree in Mandeville and robbed some Chinese national. And they didn't hurt them. They didn't do anything to them than ease off police. It was a what should I call it? A hit that was properly designed by the powers that be. Everybody knew that. That's when I first knew about Sir P and Politics Watch, about 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And he was saying that, take it from me, you know, scientists know scientists work. These men are proper shooters because they do proper grouping and stuff. While the vehicle was moving, and you know, I learned a lot. I remember that video, and I was watching it, and I learned a lot, like a lot. I understand how these things work. But they made careful not to touch the Chinese national, because, you know, you don't want certain pressure to be coming down on the government and stuff. But this here basically shows that, look, they ain't above the judgments that are set place in this accursed place called Jamaica Island you love, which is not our home. Our home is over there in the Middle East, which is Israel, not Africa, but Israel. And don't come tell me no bullshit that Israel is a part of Africa, because if Israel is a part of Africa, Syria is a part of Africa, Turkey is a part of Africa, Europe is a part of Africa, because at some place, at some point, the landmass is connected together. So don't give me that bullshit, yeah? However, let me just touch this article a bit. It says the proprietors of a store in Bellevue District, St. Elizabeth, both of whom are Chinese, were shot dead during a robbery on Thursday evening. That's day before yesterday. You know, that was what you call it? Christmas Eve. You know, Grand Market time, and Jake is hungry as hell, man. I'm telling you. Out here, Jake will eat your food for nothing. Yeah, especially when you have something. So it says the identities. Bear with me. It says the identities of the couple have not yet been released by the police. Reports from the Constabulary Corporate Communications Unit are that the police were alerted to a robbery in progress at the business place about 7:20 p.m. It says when the lawmen got to the location, the business operators who both had gunshot wounds were taken to the hospital, where the man was pronounced dead on arrival and the woman succumbed to her injuries soon after. Right? The police, it says the police are continuing their probe into the double murder. There's a video that's been going around on social media also with two Chinese nationals, and it would look like in Kingston. Yeah? It would look like down there in Kingston of two Chinese nationals fighting, and you have Jake there in between them, you know, trying to part the fight. But when Jake is fighting, you ain't in between them. You ain't in between them. You know what you're doing? You're laughing, and you know, you take it as fun to see our people, you know, damage our people, kill our people, because that's a vibration that you put in your music, you put it in, you know, in the media. Oh, kill a nigga this, shoot a nigga that, a nigga ain't shit, a nigga ain't that. But as soon as these yellow bastards got touched, it's like, it's the worst thing that's happened. I can't believe even the Chinese ain't safe in Jamaica. Well, the Spirit of the Lord, basically, nobody ain't safe saving the elect. The Spirit of the Lord let that happen. If you ain't a part of the elect, you ain't safe, man. And it brings me back to the scripture here, Deuteronomy, because I'm gonna make this lesson. I'm short. Deuteronomy 30. As I said, pardon me, you know, as I'm moving in the spirit. It says, on the Lord power, Yahweh thy power, yes, says, will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Straight to the point. Straight to the point. And why are they here in the first place? Let's go to the book of, I think it's Luke chapter 19. Bear with me 1 second, yeah? I think it's Luke chapter 19. This is about Zacchaeus. Or it's Luke 16. Bear with me 1 second. When you speak about rich man, I'm driving, so bear with me 1 second. Bear with me 1 second, Baba. Question. Here's it. Alright. It's Luke chapter 16, verse 19. It says, there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And this is definitely speaking of your elites, you know, your leaders of this world. It says, and there was a certain beggar named Lazarus which was laid at his gate full of sores. And that's us. That's us. We are the ones that are trying to reach to the top. You know, we are the ones that are trying to be somebody or like somebody. You know, he says, and desired to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sore. These Chinese nationals, these Syrians, they are the dogs that come to lick our sores, man. And take all the resources that we have, all the money. You ain't seeing them spending shit in the so-called community. They won't even go and bank their money. Then they make the money, change it over into the US currency and ship it back to their country. Which, guess what, that make your asses even more broke. Yeah? He says, and it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels in Abraham's bosom, and the rich man that also died and was buried. It says, and he lifted up his eyes, being in torment, and seeth Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. Alright? It says, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. And Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receiveth thy good things. You know, the so-called white man, the elites, you know, you receive your good things, even among these Chinese, man, and these various nations, their elites did receive of their good things. You know, it says, and likewise Lazarus evil things, but now he is comforted and they are tormented. Yeah? It says, and besides all this, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence, they cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. Because the Heavenly Father put that gulf there. There's a time that you devils gonna be ruling, and there's a time that we are gonna be ruling, and you devils time is coming to an end. Likewise you heathen, because guess what? You so-called Asians, yeah? You Chinese, you're partakers of the hope of Babylon. That's the reason why you're here, to basically, you know, to rob, to further rob and to steal from our people, to further rip the economy that we have here, you know. So it says, verse 27, it says, then he said, I pray thee, wherefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. And they're gonna go into it, man. Slavery, you know, hard time, hardship, all of that's coming, you know, and it's coming in its perfection. And guess what? You Chinese gonna be in it as well, because you hate the Israelites. Remember, you Chinese in the scriptures are the Moabites, and guess what? You were the first to try to curse us when we left Egypt. Do you remember that? That's the reason why the Lord hates your asses, man. That's the reason why the Lord hates you, you know? So, let me just finish this up and close off. It says, Abraham said unto him, they have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. And he said unto him, if they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. Because guess what? They know that you're the Israelites. All of them know that you're the Israelites. But that doesn't stop them from praying off you people, man. That doesn't stop them from basically, you know, looking at you like nobody, calling us bums, we're the worst people, giving us poison in our food, you know, giving us poison in our water, whatever. It doesn't stop them. They don't believe, because this is how they got rich, man. These various nations, this is how they become wealthy, by the backs of our slavery. Yeah? And this is the time when it's gonna come to an end. Yahweh Hashem is putting it to an end, man. And judgment is prepared for you heathens as well. You remember the other day in Germany, when the flood hit Germany. Remember that Edomite woman, what she said? She said, I didn't know that these things happen here in Germany. I thought these things, she said, I didn't know that these things could happen here in Germany. I thought these things was only for third world nations. I was like, oh yeah, bitch. The judgment of the Lord is for everybody, man. You know, because even Jake, you know, the 2/3, they're gonna get it. And they're gonna get it seriously, man. You know. Remember, judgment must begin at the house of the Lord. And it says, and if it begin with us, how much more them that fear not the Lord, you know? Some crazy shit's gonna happen, man. When I say some crazy shit, I mean some crazy shit's gonna happen in this place, man. Anyway, with that I want to say all praises, glory and honor to Yahweh Basham Yahushai, Basham Kodash, and double honor to the apostles, and to those of great Mr. Shalom.